Mariam, you ready? Yeah? Alright. So, first things first, Bridget, when you're completing a square, what you're doing is you're taking a quadratic that's not a perfect square, and you're changing it using algebra to make it a perfect square. But you don't change its value, you just change the way it's written, right? So like for example, this is a perfect square. X squared plus 10x plus 25, because that's x plus 5 squared, right? Those are the same. Yeah, Jesus? Yeah. Okay. This is not a perfect square, right here in red. That's not a perfect square. Right, Denise? But if I added 26 to this negative 1, do you see how it would be this right here? Right? But if I do that to one side, I got to do the same thing to the other, otherwise it wouldn't be equal to itself. Right, Danny? So then I'd get x squared plus 10x equals, sorry, like that. 25 equals, yeah, 26, right? X squared plus 10x plus 25 equals 26. You see how I did that? Right? So I'm not talking about how you do it, I just want to make sure that you see what is happening. Like big picture. Right? So this is now a perfect square over here, you can factor it. And if you wanted to solve this, you would just take the square root and then subtract 5 from both sides. 1 second, Michelle. Right? If you wanted to solve this, you would take the square root and then you'd subtract 5. So the key is, the way you take something that's not a perfect square is you take half of b, here's b, and you square it. Half of 10 is 5, 5 squared is 25, so you take half of b, square it, and add it to both sides. That's what happens. What's your question, Michelle?
You know it's not perfect when there's a 0 on the right side?
No. No? Like for example, x squared plus 8x plus 16. Whoa. I'm supposed to say 16. Huh. X squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 0. That's a perfect square. That's x plus 4 equals 0. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with this. It has to do with, is this a product of a binomial squared? Yep. So, does that answer your question or no? Not really. Yeah, you have to think about it. There's no shortcut. There's no way to just look and see. You have to see if this is factorable, right? But it doesn't really matter. If it's just solved by completing the square, that's what you're going to do. Okay, these are trickier because a is not 1. Right, Monse? These are trickier. Like this one's trickier because a is not 1. Right? Okay. Now one thing is, this one says solve. It doesn't say like change to vertex form. So it kind of dictates some things a little different. Eventually you want to get x by itself. Right? So we're going to do two things right here. We're going to get rid of this number and we're going to get rid of that number. We're going to move them to the other side. Right? But you have to use inverse operations. So we're going to add 2 to both sides, right? And remember, leave space. Because you're going to take, eventually you're going to take half of this and square it and add it here and add it there. Yes, bless you.
You remove c before you take 5 out of the equation?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, leave it out of the
But you're going to divide everything by 5, right?
Okay.
Everything. Right. So that's 1. So you have x squared minus 7/5 x equals 2/5. Cool. Are we good? Yeah, Bridget? You sure? So you got to get c moved to the other side, and you got to divide everything by a. Right? We're solving, so yeah, we're going to get there. We're dividing. All right. Now, half of b squared. Half of b squared. That's the thing. So half of b squared, 1/2 of b squared. And b is negative 7/5, right? So half of that, so I'm going to write it like this, minus 7/10 squared. Right? But you don't square it on this side, because your next step, remember, is to factor. And that's the factor, right? I don't know if you remember, but when I taught you this the first time last year, we actually would square all this, and you would see, like look, we actually squared this, and we got that back. Like this is 49/100. And 7 over 10 plus 7 over 10 does equal 7 over 5. 7 over 10 plus 7 over 10 does equal 7 over 5. 7 over 10 plus 7 over 10 is 14 over 10, right? And that's reducible by 2. That's 7 over 5. Yep. Okay. Anyway, we also have to add it over here, but over here you square it, right? So that's 49 over 100. Is that okay? Yeah? See, I added it on both sides. Those are the same. Add it to one side, you add it to the other, right, Adium? All right, Felipe, we're doing good? How's Jackie doing over there? Yeah? Okay. So, we factored this side already. Over here, we got to get a common denominator, combine like terms. Do we have to multiply by 20? Right? Because 5 goes into 120 times. So it's going to be 40. Is that right? So it's going to be 89, 89, however you want to say it. Is that good? This is easy. Don't make this hard. Don't make this difficult. You don't need to write every step. You know the common denominator is going to be 100. You know you're going to multiply this by 20. So just do it in your head. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 plus 49, 89. Well, hello, Miss Mangello.
Are you taking us?
No, we want you in here.
Yeah, that wasn't the question.
What? No, we're just reviewing.
You're not putting this on Facebook
No.
page because you're on there.
That's true. That's because I'm good looking.
Wondering if this was going to be on there. I don't want to be on it.
You didn't want to be on there?
I don't want to walk across.
You don't?
The camera's on the side.
I know. Good. That was good. Gonna make it, or too early to tell? Don't know
too
who she
early
is.
to tell.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too early to tell. I'll know Friday. I'll know tomorrow. Doing our second quiz.
Gotta give me 2 times to call her in, right? You can't just
Can't do it once. I know.
do
I'm
it
sorry.
just once and just do it all like.
Does she feel like she's good to go? Because if the answer was no, then
I don't know. I haven't called her in once,
oh.
so because I was hoping I could do it all. Is Michelle here?
Yeah, she's here,
Wow.
and she was on early, which really means on
Fine
time.
early.
On time.
Can I talk to you, Miss Michelle?
Oh, did you see her face sink? She went.
I wasn't looking up. Why?
No.
No, there's nothing. You don't do anything, Mr. Brown. I don't know. She can be late. Ridiculous. You haven't been doing anything for 8 days, so I
Nothing.
mean,
We don't do anything in
it
here.
was a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, but her face went. Right, she's not missing anything.
Well, she's not awake yet. She's tired. She needs those extra minutes. So that's all you saw. That slump was just like, God, I have to walk. That was a pure reaction.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Well, nothing else to do with it.
Yeah, you're right. Poor Michelle. Poor Michelle. Yeah. All right, Lauren, next step. Next step, we got to take the square root, right? Got to take square root. Square root of both sides. Like that. Right? That's a perfect square. That's what makes this easy. That's one of the whole purposes of solving by completing the square. And so that's the square root of 89 over 10. Make sure 89 can't be simplified. Right? It can't. You just take my word for it for now. But if it was like 24, you would have to simplify it. All right, George. And then all you got to do, add 7 over 10 to both sides. It already has a common denominator. It almost always does, and there's your answer. Yes, ma'am.
You couldn't put 7 on the other side of it?
I don't know what you mean.
Like the square root, or like plus or minus the square root of 89. Plus.
Oh, you want to
yeah,
put 7 over here now.
Okay.
It gets too, yeah, it looks ugly. Yes, Lauren?
Do you have to write it with the common?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, that's exactly the result of the quadratic formula right there. Right? If you use the quadratic formula, you would get this. So let's see here. Quick review, because we haven't talked about that for a while anyway. Quadratic formula, right? Oh boy. Leslie, what's the quadratic formula? I know you got a tattoo of it over the summer. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Right. Thank you. That's very good. All right. A, b, and c are coefficients. Well, hi, Michelle. Welcome back. Michelle just gave me a dirty look. Do you see that dirty look she gave me? She went like... Okay. So, b is negative 7. So, the opposite of negative 7 is 7, right? Plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 49, minus 4 times 5 times negative 2. All of that divided by 10. 2 times a, 2 times 5. All right, so 7 plus or minus. What's 49 minus, oh, what is this, 40? No, wait, what is that?
It's 40.
Oh, it is 40, but it's a plus. You see that? It's positive. Negative times a negative is positive. So that's 49 plus 40. That's famously known as 89. There you go. Same thing. Alexis, why couldn't you do this for this problem?
Because it asks you to do it.
Because of the instructions. Gotta follow directions. We doing good? Yeah? Questions? No? Yes.
Is putting an equation in Vertex Form, is that going to be on quick start?
No? But you want to see it? Just in case you forgot? It's a good idea. So Denise, do you know what she's asking? Are you singing to yourself? No? Are you happy today? If you're happy, I'm happy. Okay. So she was asking, what if I was asked to take, let's do the same exact equation. Oh. Here, give her notes back because she's going to write this down, and then I'll give you this in a minute. I'll save it for you. All right. Let's do the same exact one right here. But now let's say the instructions said write in Vertex Form. Right? And you could find the vertex and then just plug the numbers into Vertex Form. Vertex Form, do you remember what it is? Yeah. Right? Yep. And the vertex, do you remember, was h comma k? But you remember it's the opposite of this, right? That's how it worked. So you could find the vertex and then just plug all the numbers in right there. Let's see here. A clue is A is going to be 5. See? A is A. H and K are different than B and C. So it doesn't just go like that. Do you guys remember how to find the vertex real easy? Yeah.
Isn't it just 2
I wish. Yes, sir. It's negative b over 2a. That's the x coordinate. And then how do you find the y coordinate? Plug that in. Plug in x and you see what y is. So, and that's how you can write that. Like that's what that means right there. That means take this number, whatever it is, and plug it in. So we could do that and plug it in, or we're going to use completing the square because that's what we're practicing. Are you ready? Monse's ready. She's excited. She's pumped. Pumped. Now, vertex form, everything's on the left. What's your question, Sam?
What is F?
F is like the function. Yeah, this means plug in this number into the whole equation. Yeah, and this number would be 7 over 10. You plug in 7 over 10. Okay. George, you ready? Yes! Yes! Cambridge 1. You're welcome. We don't need an intercom system.
I know, we can just go walk.
Yeah. Okay. That was funny. Okay, Bridget. Bridget, the first thing is we're going to rewrite, and we're going to do two things when we rewrite. Easy for me to say. We're going to do two things when we rewrite this. We are going to take A out of these two, because you see how it's like written kind of like that, and we're also going to leave space. So we're going to do this like here. I'm going to take A out of these two. How do I take 5 out of 7? Just divide. Whoa. Oh, this is notes. You see what I did? I haven't done this since the last time you did this, I don't think. Michelle's depressed now. No? Do you guys see what I did? Do you remember why I left space? Because I'm going to have to take half of this and square it and add it right here. Right. So that's going to be, right? Is that okay? That's why I left space. Why did I leave space right here? Since I added it, what do I have to do right here? Subtract it from the same side, right? Because like if I add it and subtract it from the same side, then it's equal to 0. But do you see how there's really 5 of these? Do you see what I'm saying? There's 5 of these. So I have to subtract 5 of these. I have to subtract 5 of these. There's really 5 of these right here, because it's inside the parentheses and the 5's distributing. Yeah, so I have to do minus 5 of 49 over 100. Well, I just drew right over the equal sign. Yes, Lauren? Okay, never mind it. So, Felipe, we're good? There's a lot of numbers on there, huh? Yeah, and right now the freshmen are complaining because they have to do this. They're like, that's complicated. I'm like, no, it's not. Next step is we factor, correct? And the reason we don't square this number is because that number right here goes right here with the sign. It takes the sign with it, so we don't square this, because that's the factor we're looking for every single time. It's like a Disney moment. Every time it just works out beautiful, just like all of you guys, especially you, George. Okay. Now over here we got to multiply this. We got to get a common denominator. But look, you can reduce. Do you see how you can reduce? 5 into 100, right? 5 goes into 100 20 times. Is that true? Yeah? So now common denominator, 2 written with a denominator of 20 would be what? The number 2 is equal to what number with a denominator of 20? 40. This would be 40 over 20, right? That's what 2 equals. So negative 40 minus 49 is what? Negative 40 minus 49. Negative 40 minus 49. Negative 40 minus 49. Negative 40 minus 49. And then, thank you. Negative 89 over 20 equals 0. So what's the vertex? Like, that's vertex form right there. That's vertex form. We answered the question. Right, vertex form. What's the vertex? 7/10 and negative 89 over 20. That's if we didn't make a silly mistake. That 20 is concerning me. You can't see what, who, where? 40 and 49 is 89.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody gets stuck on the fraction part, but these fractions with these always work out easy. Even though the numbers are big, they always work out easy. Yes, Lauren?
Would it be a negative sign?
No. It's the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, Sam?
You know the difference between vertex form like this and vertex form x1 is that you wouldn't have to multiply the right side by 5.
Correct. Like if A was 1, it's a lot easier because you don't have to worry about it. Yep. Danny, we're good? Okay, that's $10. All right. And yes, we did record Miss Munja.